Hello and welcome to my channel, Talisman Tarot. In this reading I want to ask the cards and Spirit directly through channeling about the gossip about you. What's the gossip on you? What are people saying about you behind your back? And I have 5 groups here that you can choose from. This will be group number 1, this will be group number 2, this will be group number 3, this will be group number 4, and this will be group number 5. And so I will ask you to use your intuition and choose the group that speaks to you the most, the group that catches your eye, and that group will be your group. And if you need any more time to choose, you can just pause the video. But if you don't need any more time, then just go into the description box below for the timestamp of your reading and click on that, and and then your reading should appear in front of you. And and I'll see you in your reading. So hello group number 1, you chose the Ring Cycle tarot deck, and I will start with some channeling and then I will shuffle the cards for you. So okay, I'm gonna do the channeling now. So group number 1, the people who will choose group number 1, Spirit, can you answer this question for group number 1? What is the gossip on them, on group number 1? What's the gossip about them? I am sensing that people are talking about something you did that was very bold, very courageous, something that needed a lot of guts to do. Like that you did something that was a bit ballsy, a ballsy move. So I think people are talking about something you did, something. I feel like it's not necessarily directed at your character. Like the gossip that is going around about you is not really about you. It's about something you did, something you've accomplished, or something you had success with, or something bold, a bold move that you did. And so, and it's positive. It's not. It's not negative. And I feel like it's true. Like it's not rumors. It's not like false rumors. Like people just are admiring you for something you did. Something that they wouldn't have done themselves. Something that they believe is very gutsy, ballsy. Yeah, with the world, I feel like people might also be admiring you for something that has to do with traveling, like maybe some of you dared to travel to a different country, maybe for a long time, like go backpacking, or maybe some of you took a year off and just went out traveling for a whole year or something. And I think people admire you for making that move, like daring to move to a different country or move far away from where you live. Even if it was only a short period of time, people still talk about that as something really great. There's also something with the something about going full circle. Maybe some of you have also managed to break out of a circle that you have been in, or that your family has been in, like some kind of negative or bad cycle. Maybe your parents kind of repeated a pattern that their parents had and their parents before them had, and like maybe there's a generational thing where for generations your ancestry has been doing the same thing over and over again, the same mistake, and maybe you have been able to break out of that pattern. And I think people might also be talking about that. Because this is also an ash tree, like it's the world ash tree. And so there is something about like breaking out of like a tree, like the family tree or some other kind of tree where you might have been able to break out of the, well, maybe also job-wise, like maybe some of you have chosen to be self-employed or like break out of the corporate tree, like the conventional career tree, like break out of it and do things your way instead of doing things like everybody else and what is expected of you or something like that. And I think people are talking about you being bold, like making a bold move to become self-employed or something like that. So what else are people talking about behind your back? What kind of gossip is going around about you? Group number 1. With the King of Gods, which is King of Wands. I think people see you as someone who's a bit like a bit impulsive, but in a good way, where it's structured impulsivity, if that makes sense. Like spontaneity, but it's not like so spontaneous that it breaks out and like becomes problematic. Like that you have the limited spontaneity, so that it's it's enough to actually have this fun, exciting life, but not so spontaneous that it becomes problematic. And also with the snake in the photo or in the illustration, there could also be something about a photo bomb, because I feel like this snake is photobombing the picture in the illustration here. So there could be something about, like, this is maybe more specific for some of you, I guess, but for some of you, people might have been talking about you photobombing or getting in some kind of picture that you weren't supposed to be in, or maybe you did it for a laugh, like maybe you did it as a joke, and maybe people also found it very funny, so it's not like, it's not negative gossip about it, but people might even be talking about how funny it was that you photobombed some picture that was supposed to be very serious, and you might have taken light on it and made it into a bit of a joke, and maybe it actually landed very well, and so maybe it was a good thing. So yeah, I'm gonna shuffle some more cards to see what people are saying about group number 1. What are people saying about group number 1? Okay, so 5 of Cups, 5 of Valsungs. I think people might see you as slightly negative or a bit pessimistic, but maybe in a funny way, where you take the pessimism and make it a joke, where it's more you just being sarcastic and having a slightly dark sense of humor or something like that, where it's not tipping over to the complete negativity, but you might joke about hopelessness, feeling hopeless, and making it kind of like this, where it's not serious, and I think people know that it's not serious, and maybe some people kind of talk about you making some slightly too dark jokes, that like maybe you have made jokes about life not having any meaning, or that it's all pointless, and why even wake up in the morning or something like that. And I think the people who know you, they know that you're not being serious, that it's more of a joke. But I think the people who don't know you quite as well, they might take it seriously and think that you're very depressed. So just watch out for that. But yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna shuffle some of these archetype cards as well, just to see like how people describe you, like what's the description of you that's going on behind your back, like what's the narrative here, like what's just the, how do people describe group number 1? How do people describe group number 1? Okay, so with the Judge card reversed, I feel like people see you as someone who doesn't judge people, someone who's very tolerant, even though you might make jokes about, I think you make jokes about people, like you might enjoy making fun of people, but I don't think you do it behind their back. I think you do it to their face. So I don't think it's a big, like, I think you're actually doing it the right way, where like it's not something like you wouldn't say anything behind people's back that you wouldn't say to them, like directly to their face. And so I think you keep it very, very respectful, and I think people see that. People see that you are very direct and very honest, and in that honesty is also like it's very clear to people that you are very tolerant at your core. Like at a core level, you're a very tolerant person, even though you come across as a bit judgmental. It's like people can tell that it's not really who you are, that it's more of a front that you put on, that it's more of a joke, and like this joke persona that you act like when you are at parties or something, that you like to be the devil's advocate, that you like to kind of take some controversial opinions on, sometimes like try to argue some controversial opinions just to make things interesting or something. And people can tell that like it's not coming from your, like it's not you, it's not how you truly feel. It's just something you do for fun. Like I think people see you as very hard. Like when they meet you at first, I think they see you as very strong and very cold and very hard. But then when they get to know you, they can tell that you're actually a softie on the inside. So with the Rescuer card, well, some people might be talking about you hanging out with some bad people, like that you have some friends that some people might, some of your other friends might feel like you're not really, that you should be more selective of your friends. I think some of your friends don't like your other friends. Like you have two groups of friends, or two very different groups of friends that you hang out with or something. And I think one of those groups don't like the other, or both don't like each other. I don't know, but like it's like you have some friends who just feels like you need to throw away the other friends, because those other friends are rescues. Like they are just strays that you have taken pity on, and they are not serving you, and they are not in your life, and like they're not enriching your life, I mean. And so I think people talk about you, that you need better friends, or that you need to throw some friends away because they are not great. And maybe even like romantically, there might have been some people that you have dated in the past, and maybe you date someone right now that your friends don't like because your friends feel like that person is beneath you, or that you dated someone in the past that was beneath you. So there might be something like that going on. And with the warrior card, I feel like people talk about you being very strong, that you can conquer a lot, and that you have already conquered a lot in your life, that you're a tough nut to crack, like you're it also says hero or heroism, and I think people talk about you being kind of a hero, maybe in a bad sense, like with the rescuer card. It's kind of the same thing, like that maybe some of your friends or family members feel like you're being a bit selfless, and like you're being the hero, you're being the savior, that maybe you have a bit of a savior complex, that you hang out with some people that need you much more than you need them, where you're more just, well, being a caretaker for these people, and you're not getting a lot in return. Yeah. But people see how strong you are, and that you're a powerhouse, and you can do a lot, and you have a lot to give, but it doesn't mean you have to give all the time just because you have something to give. Even like it's, yeah, I think people are talking about you maybe needing to focus more on yourself and not focus so much on helping everybody else. So yeah. And so yeah, that is the gossip about you right now. Group number 1, it's very positive. It's like there's nothing negative here. So people are just talking about nice things about you, and so so that's good. So there really isn't any gossip. It's more just people complimenting you behind your back and talking about how strong you are, and maybe having a bit of a savior complex. That's maybe the only negative thing here, really. So that, yeah. But overall, great. So yeah, that's all I have for you, group number 1. I hope this reading was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel. And if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below for more information on how to get one. And yeah, have a great day, and bye. Hello, group number 2. You chose this Rota Mundi tarot deck, and I will start with some channeling, and then I will shuffle the cards for you, group number 2. So yeah, I'm gonna do the channeling now. So group number 2, the people who will choose group number 2. Spirit, can you answer this question for group number 2, the people who will choose group number 2? What is the gossip about group number 2? What's the gossip on group number 2? What's the gossip? I am sensing that people get like, there's something that you do that people really enjoy. I feel like it's the little, it's the small things. It's like there's some small things that you do every day that some people around you really enjoy. And I feel like that's something that I keep hearing. It's like, it's the small things, like the small joys in life that you contribute with, that people are talking about, that you create some kind of coziness, like in people's everyday life. The people close to you, they sense that like you have such a good grasp on making people feel good, feel at home, feel cozy, like maybe at your workplace or at your school. It seems like you have these rituals or something that you do, that you might have put on other people as well, like, or invited other people into your rituals. And I feel like people really like that you invited them into this world, or that you introduced them to something that you have been doing for a long time. And I feel like it's something to do with rituals, or doing small things every day that makes you feel good. It could also be something about meditation. Maybe you are very good at meditating, and maybe you have talked to your coworkers or your classmates or your friends or family members about your meditation rituals. And I think people are just talking about how much it has saved their life or helped them through their day, that they can do these small things, these small rituals, and that they have such a big impact on their life. And so, yeah, it's very positive. I feel a very positive energy coming from other people towards you. So I feel like people really empower you with their energies as well. As like, I feel like people feel empowered by you, but they also give that in return, because I feel like you get a lot of positive energy from the people around you, because people think a lot of kind and positive thoughts about you throughout their day, and that empowers you too. I even feel like some people pray for you, like that people have you in their prayers. So people really seem to enjoy like what you do, and also like that you have given them so much that they want to give you some in return. And I feel like it's very spiritual, but I also felt a very cozy energy in the beginning. And so I think for those of you where this doesn't have anything to do with spirituality, it could have something to do with coziness, homey vibes, like helping people create cozy, fuzzy feelings throughout their day. like with candles or something. I don't know what it is really, but it feels like you have had an impact on people. Like you've given people some advice or something that they have implemented into their life, and yeah, I'm gonna shuffle some cards and see what the cards have to say about group number 2. What have people been saying about group number 2 behind their back? What's the gossip on group number 2? What's the gossip on group number 2? Yeah. With the Queen of Wands reversed, I feel like people see you as very, very calm and very silent, the silent type. You might not be the type who says a lot, and I think people talk about you being a bit of an enigma. Someone who's a bit mysterious, like they can't really pinpoint who you are, like they don't know what you think. Sometimes I think some people around you might be a bit like they might be a bit nervous around you because they don't know what you're thinking. And it might just be that you have social anxiety, and so you're nervous about what everybody else are thinking about you, and so that might be why you're so silent, is just because you don't want to be judged by other people, and so that's why you are quiet. But I feel like some people around you are quiet because you are quiet, and so they are afraid of saying something because they are afraid what you're thinking, because they can't really tell if you're just silently judging everybody or if you're just nervous. Like they can't really tell if, like, why you're silent. Is it because of something they say, or is it because of like you, or what they can't really tell. And so I think you make some people around you a bit nervous because you're silent, because you're a bit more on the quiet side. And I think people talk about you, like when people talk about you, I think they are more discussing you, like you're this topic that needs to be discussed because people don't know you, or some people have a lot of questions that they haven't had answered, because they feel like they can't ask you these questions like directly because they see you as a bit closed off, and so they have to talk about it when you're not there. And so I feel like people discuss who you are, like what you did before, and like what kind of education you have, and what your background is, where you're from, and stuff like that. They talk about that behind your back instead of asking you those questions directly, and I don't know why that is. I think it's just because they are maybe too nervous to ask you those questions directly. There might be something about your energy that is slightly intimidating, because people can't really tell if you like them or not, and so I think people get a bit nervous around you because they can't really read you. So with this card here, 9 of Pentacles reversed, I think people see you as too independent, like you're you don't need anyone, and I think that is also one of the things that might be a bit intimidating, and and might be making some people nervous, is that you're so independent. You don't need anyone. You don't have to stick up to anyone. You don't have to make people like you, because you don't really need them to, because you can actually do things on your own, and you don't need anybody to help you. If you're in school, you might be in a very good place, or like people might see you as someone who has like more of what's it called? I don't remember the word, but people might just see you as naturally privileged, not like privileged in like a social way or like income or something like that. More like naturally, like from birth, like just in the way you are, like your skills, like and talents, they make you privileged because like you are likely very smart and very talented and good at what you do, and so you don't need anyone. Like if you're in school or at the workplace, you might prefer to work alone because it's less distracting and you get more work done that way. But maybe some of your co-workers or classmates, they really need to work in groups because they can't really do everything on their own, and so they search for partners so that they can have someone who has the skills that they lack, and so and where like they, not that they don't have the skills, they just have like half of or like some of the skills, and so they need someone who has the other half of the skills so that they can complement each other. And so they but I think you have the whole package. You don't really need to work with others, and people can tell that you don't need anyone. And so that puts you in a very privileged spot where you're a bit too independent, to the point where people might get a bit intimidated, get a bit nervous around you, and also likely a bit jealous of your independence because they know they can't work alone, and so they see you working alone, and they kind of hate you for it because you're doing what they would want to do themselves, but they can't. Yeah. this card also says, like when it's upright, it says, I am the Lord, thy God. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make or bow to a graven image. Thou shalt not use my name in vain. Yeah, and this is reversed, and so I think people see you or talk about you as someone who doesn't have anyone above you, like you are. Like you don't stick up to anyone. There aren't. It seems like there are no one over you, higher up in the hierarchy. Like you're not kissing anybody's ass because you are quite high up on the ladder already, and so you don't really need to get further up. So you don't need to find someone to stick up to or yeah. So yeah, I think people talk about you kind of being your own boss, maybe like being very independent, very autonomous. Like you do what you want to do, and you have your own schedule, and you play by your own drum, and it seems like you can do whatever you want, and you don't have to serve anyone. And you don't have to bow for anyone, and like you don't have to, and maybe also like you're maybe very confident in yourself, and you don't see, like maybe you're also someone who doesn't, who has never been a fan of anything, like, or anyone, like you've never idolized someone, like you've never looked up to someone, like you've never had an idol, like you might not care a lot about celebrities. You might look at, like maybe if you see a celebrity in the grocery store, you don't even look because you don't really care. While other people would be looking and making a big deal about it, you might just be the type of person who just doesn't really give a shit if some celebrity is in the grocery store. Like you probably wouldn't even tell people afterwards that you saw that person, because it wasn't really that big of a deal, and you don't really care about celebrities. And I think people see that you don't idolize people. You don't, like, you're also like maybe like you might not care a lot about authorities as well. Like you talk to your teacher like you talk to your classmates. Like you don't feel like you have to talk to your teacher in a different way, because you know that's just a person like you and me, and like there's not really anything that makes that person any different, other than they took an education, and you have taken an education too, probably, and so you don't really see how you're that different. So yeah, with the Hanged Man, I think people I think people see you as someone who has a very original view on things. I think people talk about your views, and I think you have voiced your opinion about stuff in the past, and I think people talk about some of the things that you said in the past that really blew their mind, something that was really interesting and a very unique take on something, where I think you have a way of putting things like taking things and putting it upside down and kind of making people see something that is like very known and very normal to us, something that we don't think about in our everyday life, things that we just do out of habit, and you might be good at pointing out how silly it is that we do some of the things that we do out of habit, that it makes no sense, and that some of the things are things that we shouldn't be doing, or something like that. And then you might have pointed that out to some people, and I think people talk about that you kind of gave them fresh eyes on a topic that seemed to be very like unarguable to them, like something that they'd never really thought of. They never thought that there could be a different point of view on that topic or something. And yeah. And I think people would really like to hear more of your brilliant opinions and views on stuff, but it's like they can't really get it because you're a bit closed off and you're a bit silent. And so I feel like sometimes they know, like I think people know that you're very smart and that you have really unique takes on big topics like religion, philosophy, psychology, history, sociology, stuff like that, that you have some very intellectual opinions about those big topics or subjects, and when they talk, like when your friends, for instance, talk about those subjects around you and you're silent, they get scared that you're just judging everything they say because they know you're really smart. And if you don't say anything about it, like if you don't say anything about what they said, they are afraid that you're just nodding, but really you're like thinking that it's stupid what they said. And I think that's something that makes people a bit nervous, is that they don't really know if you think they are way off, that they are speaking about stupid things, and or that they are stupid in their views on things. And yeah, and I also feel like many people want to just know your take on stuff. Like they are waiting for you to voice your opinion about those topics because they really want to know what you think. So I think many people would really want to hear you talk more, because they know you're really smart and they feel like you're kind of keeping it to yourself, like that you have all these smarts and you're not sharing it, that you're sitting on it, kind of. that you have this big pile of gold. You're just not really sharing it with anyone. And that's something that, like, people don't know if it's something you do on purpose, that you just don't want them to know all your secrets, like all the smart things that you have figured out about religion and psychology, philosophy, stuff like that. That you're not really being generous with your information and your knowledge. But also people don't know if like, still I feel like people also think that maybe it could be because you have anxiety or that you're just a shy person, and so they also give you the benefit of the doubt and think that it's probably that is the more probable reason for why you're being silent or quiet. With this card, King of Pentacles, I think people see you as a very patient person. Like, they see you at, like, if you go to a dinner party, people don't really understand how you can sit at a dinner party and stay quiet for 10 hours. Like, I don't think you're quiet for all the time, but I think people see you as more quiet than you actually are, which is a bit unfair, I think, because I think when you go to a dinner party, I think you actually talk a lot, or you talk quite normally, like not that much less than other people. But for whatever reason, I think people always remember it, like they remember you to be more quiet than you actually were. And they just remember that you were silent and that you didn't say much. And this is coming from people who said rather little themselves. Like, they didn't say a lot themselves. They weren't chitter-chatting like all the time. Like, and so what? I don't like. I feel like this criticism is coming from people who said the exact same amount of words as you did the same night at the same dinner party, but somehow they remember it as you being the quiet one, they being the extrovert, talking a lot type, which they actually weren't, and you weren't that introverted, and so it's like I don't know, it's a bit unfair. So I just think these people or this person remembers it that way because they just remember that they wanted you to say more. Like, there were a lot of times where they would have wanted you to kind of relieve the situation or say something that might have helped them. Like, maybe they wanted you to agree with them on something, and so they looked at you and hoped that you would kind of say something that would emphasize their point, or that maybe there was some awkward silence at some point and they looked at you and hoped that you would relieve the silence or something. So I think that there just was a lot of times where they would have wanted you to say more in order to make them a bit less awkward. And so it's not about the amount of words that were being exchanged at that dinner party. It's more like how many times you saved them from awkwardness. And in that calculation, they believe that you did not save them from awkwardness, and that they might have saved you more from awkwardness and you saved them or something. I don't know. I don't know how this calculation works, but or this person could just be very delusional and not really see how introverted or how introverted they are themselves, and how extroverted you actually are in comparison. Like, it's like maybe just someone who's not really seeing themselves correctly, and so maybe I'm trying to make sense of like why this person sees you as very shy and themselves as very chatty, when it's really not the case. And I don't know if it's just because they remember it wrong, or that they remember things that like they remember that they have selective memory or something. I don't know, but it is weird that I feel like there is someone in your environment, someone close to you, that just seems to have this delusion of themselves being very chatty and very extravagant and very over the top, when actually they really aren't. And I don't know why, but I guess yeah. So I'm gonna shuffle these archetype cards as well, just to get a bit more information on what people are saying about you behind your back. Group number 2. Group number 2. Group number 2. What are people saying about group number 2 behind their back? Okay. So with the Judge card reversed, I feel like people see you as someone who is not not a great judge of character, maybe, that you might be a bit blind to some people. People might be talking about you hanging out with some people that that are not very good for you. People who might have kind of ruined your self-esteem or something. Or maybe this was in the past, but people still talk about this, that maybe you were bullied as a child, and that might be the reason why you're a bit shy now, or maybe people are just discussing it, that might be the reason why you don't want to say a lot at dinner parties or at gatherings, that you are a bit closed off and a bit nervous when you talk, that it could be because of your past, because you were friends with some people that made you insecure, or something, and that it's mainly because you're and then again, like, this is kind of criticism, because it's and I don't know if that is even better than what you have been through in the past, but because it is kind of also bullying to say that you're a bad judge of character, that you're hanging out with some people, that it's kind of like victim blaming in a way, that the reason why you're insecure is because you have been friends with people in the past who made you insecure, and you chose those friends, and so that must make you the bad judge of character, and that it's fundamentally your fault. Kind of, maybe this is coming from like one specific person. I feel like it's not all the people around you who think this way. I think it is one person who's maybe not really that good of a person. So yeah. But with this card, like the two other cards, indicate that you have some really great people around you. And I don't think they have anything to do with this card. I think this is one person. But I think mostly people see you as an angel. And this card here that says child eternal. And it doesn't mean that you're an eternal child, that you're just always going to be a child. But it's actually a very cute card if you read the light attributes, and I'm gonna do that. So the light attributes are determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, ability to see things with fresh eyes, which is what I said before. So yeah, the fresh eyes part. With the Hanged Man makes sense here. People see you as someone who sees things with fresh eyes, and who is able to make other people see things with fresh eyes, and people just enjoy your unique way of looking at things. Maybe a bit alien-like sometimes. You might be an Aquarius, because like there's this, like I feel like people really enjoy listening to you talk, because when they listen to you talk, especially about big topics like philosophy, psychology, sociology, religion, spirituality, and stuff like that. Philosophy, as I said that, I think. But when you talk about that, people feel like they are listening to something that has never been said before. And so they know that what you're talking about is something they can never Google, they can never find it in a book, so they really have to listen and listen carefully, because they will only hear it one time from your mouth, because they know you have an original thought pattern. They know that what you're saying is something they will only encounter once in a lifetime, like an alien. Like it's an unusual encounter. Yeah. And with the angel card, people talk about you being an angel, like you're, and this card here, it says, helping those in need with no expectation of return. And so I think people just see you as a very caring, helpful person, and you might be a bit standoffish and a bit like closed off, but when people get to know you, they see that like deep down you are a very good and caring person. You care very deeply about other people, and you're just very angelic in your way of being. And maybe like your past has probably shaped you in a way where, well, because maybe you were bullied. If you were bullied, then maybe you have a tendency of sacrificing yourself for others and being very, very helpful to others, and be of service to others and not expect anything in return, because that's maybe something that has been implemented in your mind, that you're not supposed to ask for anything, because you're always supposed to just like, and it kind of goes against what I said before about you actually never actually sticking up to anyone, but I don't think that is I don't think that is what was meant before when people talk about you not sticking up or kissing anybody's ass. It's more like hierarchy, not like not trying to flirt with your boss in order to get a promotion or something like that. Like you don't do anything to try to get on the boss's good side, like because you don't really care about the hierarchy. But I think when you are in a relationship or in a friendship, you might have a tendency to give too much and do too much in order to have the person stay with you, which is a bit out of character, because I think when you're in a partnership in your career or something, you don't really care, like, because you're so independent in what you do and you're so certain of your talent and your knowledge and your wisdom, and so you don't really feel like you have to be a certain way in order to make make your partner want to partner up with you, because you don't really care if they go away, and because then you just have to do the work yourself, and that is something you have had good experience with in the past, so it doesn't really bother you. But when it comes to emotional connections, dating, relationships, friendships, possibly also family, like stuff like that, it might be a bit more fragile. Like you feel like you have to do certain things in order for people to stay in the relationship or in the friendship, and so I think those in those cases you might have some baggage from the past where you felt like you had to do more in your friendships when you were a child in order to keep the friendship going. Like you could not be the part that slacked in the friendship, because if you stopped contacting the other person, they would just disappear, and so and you might have some of that baggage still, where you're afraid that people just disappear if you don't contact them. But I don't know. I don't think it's true though. I think people stick around even if you don't contact them. So if you feel like you're always the one who contacts everybody else, it might be good to try it out and see what happens if you don't contact your nearest friends, if they actually would contact you first, or because I think putting that to a test, even though I don't think it's good to test your friends and stuff like that, but it might be a good thing for you to know that it's actually not going to happen. I think it would be cathartic for you to know that actually people stick around even if you stop putting an effort into the relationship. People will stick around. So yeah, but I think that's all I have for you, group number 2. I hope this reading was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel. And if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below for more information on how to get one. And yeah, have a great day and bye. Hello, group number 3. You chose this Tarot deck, and I will start with some channeling and then I will shuffle these cards for you. So yeah, group number 3. Spirit, can you answer this question for group number 3? What is the gossip on group number 3, the people who will choose group number 3? What's the gossip about them? I feel like some people might be talking about you being a bit emotional, or maybe this is just one person talking about you being sensitive or emotional, possibly because of something they did. So of course it's from their perspective, and so of course they would consider you consider you sensitive because of their insensitivity. Like, instead of seeing themselves as insensitive, to say something that wasn't that was insensitive to you, that made you react emotionally to it, they just put it on you. Like, they put the blame on you, and they blame you for the reaction that you had to the thing that they did to hurt you. And so I feel like there is some kind of idiot among you, some maybe idiots, like maybe plural, but I am sensing maybe more one person, like, or more than one person, or maybe just one. I don't know. But I feel like there might be a person in your life who said something to you or did something to you that you didn't like, and you reacted. And this is very likely something that happened publicly, where this person might have said an insensitive remark to you, and other people heard it, and so I think they discussed it later, what had happened, and I think this person kept saying, or keeps saying right now even, that they did the right thing and that you reacted wrongly. But I think the other people disagree with them. I think they agree with you. They can see it from your side, that you actually reacted in a natural way, and there wasn't anything wrong with the way you reacted. But this person, it just seems like there is a person in your life who has a very hard time looking inwards and seeing themselves from the outside. Like, they can't really see their own behavior. They don't see how they are hurting people, and they wouldn't accept their own behavior if someone else was behaving in the same way as them towards them. They would have reacted exactly in the same way as you did. But they can't see that. They can't see that if the roles were reversed, they would have reacted completely the same way. But yeah, they don't realize this, and so they just blame you for overreacting. So kind of annoying, very annoying energy, but so many people are like, this is not new. This is a very typical type of person who we all know. We all know a type of person like that, and there really is no cure to this. Like, there will always be people like that, and there is absolutely no way to fix them or reason with them. Like they will never understand. Like they will never understand their own behavior, their own role in the drama. Like they will. These types of people will always see drama everywhere they go, and they will always criticize it. Like, oh, why do I always get like tangled into all this drama? Why does drama always happen around me? And why are all the people around me always so dramatic when they are causing all the drama? Like the common denominator is them. They are always at the spot. They are the one creating the drama. So yeah, but they don't realize, and so they can never change this. Like this, it's really hard to make them realize this. So yeah. So I'm gonna shuffle the cards and see if there's what this gossip is about. Yeah, there is definitely someone who feels like you're the dramatic one when you're not. Yeah. Yeah. What's the gossip? Okay, so with the Two of Cups, I think there is some kind of gossip about romance or about your love life. This could be an ex, which kind of makes sense why this person is kind of yeah, it would make sense why this person is an ex. Like I guess that yeah. So there could be an ex of yours that you broke up with for a very good reason, because this person was very immature and very difficult. Yeah. And this person could be still talking about you and gossiping about you and trying to spread rumors about you, even though like you're over it and they should be too, because some time has passed, but they don't seem to be over it, and so they talk about you being the dramatic one and that you were the drama, when definitely I think they were, because they are the one, or this person is the one talking about you. Like if this is an ex, they are talking about you now. You're not talking about them because you're over it. And if you were the dramatic one, wouldn't you still be talking about it? Like, why is it like? Why are they the only party talking about it? So. Yeah, but I guess it's because this person likely has feelings for you still. So it's kind of petty. It's kind of like I don't know. But with the Nine of Pentacles, I think this person, likely the ex, maybe talks about you being very independent. But I also just think people talk about that in general. Talk about you being very independent, very good at, like if you're single, I think people talk about you being much better single, like you're thriving in your singlehood, like you're just blossoming as a person, and that you might have had a glow up recently or after the breakup, that the breakup has looked really good on you or something. So with the Strength card here, I think people see you as very strong. I don't know if it was reversed though. I feel like it was, but when I looked at it, I just felt like it was upright. So I'm gonna read it upright, just because it's just talking more to me when it's upright. And so I feel like people see you as someone who, like, who can conquer any obstacle that comes your way. Like it's very easy for you to overcome difficulties. Like you don't let small things get to you and ruin your energy flow. Like you don't get caught up in small things. You're good at letting things go, and maybe you're also good at letting relationships go. Like if you're in a relationship and it's toxic, you might be good at just letting it go and say, like, that's not something you want to spend your time with, because you would rather focus on yourself than be stuck in a toxic relationship. And I think maybe your ex, who was a toxic relationship, might be talking about you being too quick to let things go, like that you don't give things a chance, that you're not fighting, and that could be why it was reversed at first. I feel like there might be someone in your past who feels like you let go of the relationship too quickly, that you didn't give him a chance, that him or her, I don't know which gender, but that this person just feels like you should have given them a proper chance to show what they had to give you. Like that they had more to give, but they never had a chance to really show you what they were capable of or something. And I don't really think that was very much, but in their mind, they think, like in that delusional mind, they think they have a lot to offer, and that they are really the gift to humanity. And if you were not able to see that, it must have been because you didn't have enough time to realize it, that you would have realized it eventually, but you just didn't have enough time with them to realize it. And so it's a whole thing. Like, yeah. So I think this person really wanted to have more time to show you how great they actually were, because they only seem to show you the bad sides of them, and they don't really see that they have bad sides. So they only see that, like, the bad sides that you perceived were just misfortunate situations where they were misrepresented by certain circumstances in their life, and that those circumstances did not reflect the real version of themselves. Like maybe you met this person while they were unemployed and very poor and maybe homeless and maybe drinking and maybe on drugs. And so that was maybe where when you met this person, that was the person that they were. And I feel like if you two had stayed in a relationship, they would have shown you a different version of themselves, like someone who actually had it together, someone who wasn't addicted to stuff, and someone wasn't homeless and wasn't unemployed and stuff like that. But that was who they were back then. But they don't see that as them, a reflection of themselves, even though that was who they were. But it was just more like this temporary thing, even though this temporary thing was kind of a very long period of time and should kind of still be categorized as a part of themselves. But they don't really, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. With the Hermit here reversed, I think people are gossiping about you maybe not being completely in solitude. I know people have been talking about your singlehood, but there might be some rumors going on about you actually being in a relationship right now, but maybe that you're keeping it hidden from people, that you're not sharing it with others, that it's something hush-hush that's going on behind closed doors or something. And this could be some family members who are just not necessarily doing this out of spite or anything like that. It might not be negative at all. I don't think it's negative at all. I just think people are like talking about like the possibility that maybe there is something going on, and maybe it's something exciting, and maybe she's just not telling us, she or he is not telling us because it's too early in the relationship or something, that it's could also be something about like some people might be like, this is maybe specific for a few of you, that maybe some family members are thinking that maybe you're pregnant or something, or that you're keeping something hidden, and like that you have a secret, something that you're not sharing, and they don't know what it is, so they have been like brainstorming what it could be, and one of the things that came up was pregnancy. That maybe it could be pregnancy, maybe it could be a hidden relationship, maybe it could be something completely different. But I'm gonna shuffle some of these archetype cards just to get a bit more description of like how people are describing you behind your back. Okay, so a few cards came through, so yeah, I'm gonna read all of them, even though it was a lot. But with the slave card reversed, I feel like people see you as someone who's not a slave to anyone. That you're your own person. You're very, like, maybe that you also have issues with commitment. That you have a hard time committing to someone because you want your personal freedom. You want to be able to make your own choices. You might also have a tendency to not want to compromise too much, especially when it comes to things that you care a lot about, maybe your career or your studies, something that comes as a high priority to you. And so if someone tells you to give up on your dream and just conform in some kind of bounded relationship with someone and just compromise and be there for your partner, life partner, and yeah, then I think like people know that you wouldn't do that because you want to follow your dreams, and you wouldn't give up on your dream for someone else. Like you wouldn't let someone get in the way of you doing what you want to do with your life. With the healer reversed, I think people see you as someone who has maybe some things in your baggage that hasn't been dealt with, that you might need some healing from past experiences, past trauma. Also with the child wounded here, there might have been something from your childhood that needs to be healed, that you haven't healed yet. Maybe you also, like, maybe people gossip about you maybe having some repressed memories or things that you're not dealing with, traumas that you're not facing. With the child nature card, people might be talking about your connection with animals and with nature, that you maybe also that you're a very natural person. Like maybe you don't, if you're a woman, you might not wear a lot of makeup. You might like to just be natural and not do anything to enhance the way you look. And I think people talk about that in a positive way, where they talk about you being so naturally yourself, natural beauty. With the Avenger card reversed, I think people there might be something where I feel like you could have had a toxic ex who was really, really bad to you, and the relationship was really bad, and somehow this ex might still feel like they have a shot with you, even though you are completely done, because maybe this person did something that overstepped your boundaries, and so there's no way back to actually like trying to recreate the relationship, because like that's just unheard of. It's like no one goes back to a relationship like that. But somehow this person that you broke up with, or like this relationship in the past, like the person seems to still not really realize how bad it was. Because why would this person keep this hope that you two could get back together if, like, maybe it's just because this person is completely delusional of his own role in the drama and in the trauma of it all. But it seems like people around you who knows the story, who knows what you went through with this person, and who also knows that this person is kind of making attempts to get back into your life, they might feel like you have not had the Avenger spirit in all of this. Like you should be more angry, and you should be more like even a bit more violent towards this person, because maybe they feel like violence is the only thing that can actually stop the violence, or that the beat. I don't know, that this person needs to find out that they are not wanted. But that this person doesn't realize, like if this person doesn't realize what they did, I think people around you feel like maybe you haven't been clear about that, and maybe you haven't made it clear. And I think you have. I don't think this criticism is actually justified, because I think you've done everything in order to make this person realize that this is completely over and you will never have anything to do with this person again, because this person overstepped your boundaries. But I think people feel like you should be more mad. And maybe you have even said to some people that that you forgive this person, or kind of, that you don't want to think about this person more, and so you don't want to get to be mad at this person all the time, and so the forgiveness is more for you and it's not for him or her. Like it's for your own peace of mind, that you just want to not have to think about this person every day, and so you have forgiven this person. And I think people around you might not understand why you have forgiven them, why you're not completely mad at this person and wants this person dead, because I think some people around you really want this person to be dead, and so they kind of want you to feel the same way. But I think you have done the right thing to kind of relieve yourself from this agony, because being mad at a person can be very, very tiring over time. And And with the Messiah card, I think people see you as just very humble and like this very selfless person, and a bit of a saint, really, that you should be more mad at the people who hurt you in the past, but you have this Zen kind of energy where you're just like moving on, letting go of the past. And yeah, I feel like people admire you for it, but I feel like people don't really understand how you can forgive the people who hurt you and how you can just move on without getting justice. But I think like that's the only way to cope. So yeah, but I think that's all I have for you, group number 3. I hope this reading was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel. And if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below for more information on how to get one. And have a great day, and bye. Hello, group number 4. You chose the Hermetic Tarot deck. And I will start with some channeling, and then I will shuffle the cards for you. Group number 4. So, group number 4, the people who will choose group number 4. Spirit, can you answer this question for group number 4? What is the gossip on group number 4? I am sensing that some people are kind of spreading some rumors about you, or I feel like this could just be one person in your life who is a bit of a snake, someone who is not to be trusted at all. And I think you know that. I think you know that there is someone in your friend group who is a bit of a two-faced bitch, and could be a Gemini, someone who says something directly to you and then behind your back they talk shit, and like is very, very kind up front, and then like yeah, and I feel like some people around you, other people in your friend group, they know this person is talking shit and is like very fake. And I think they feel like they don't understand why you are friends with this person. And I think some people are a bit sorry for you to have this person as a friend, because they know that this person is acting so sweet and kind towards you in public, and then like they say something completely different when you go to the bathroom, and like it's this thing where people around her or him, I don't know if it's a her or a him, but like the people around this person, they know, of course they know, because they know that the tone changes when you walk out of the room, so they can tell, and they feel like that, like they don't like this person. Like I feel like the rest of the friend group, they don't like this two-faced bitch, because they know, because this person is not trying to hide it. This person is very blunt about it, and And I feel like you have some friends who just feel straight up sorry for you that you are caught up with this person, this fake ass person. And yeah. So yeah, I feel like this person is talking a lot of shit about you, like this one person, but the other people around you, your other friends, are not. The other friends seem to be very positive, but there is just this one friend who keeps saying a lot of negative things. But I feel like it, and I know that this is a bit cliche to say, but I feel like it might be because of jealousy that, like, this is, I feel like you have, like, this one friend of yours, a two-faced bitch. The reason why she's talking all this shit about you behind your back is because she wants you to herself or himself. This person wants you isolated so that this person can be your friend and your friend only. So whenever you walk out of the room, they try to get all the like this person tries to get the rest of the friend group against you by saying that you say a lot of nasty stuff about them or something, but they know that she's lying. They know that she's full of crap, but she's trying to, like, say that you're not a great person and that you did this and that you did that, and like, because she or he wants you alone for her or himself, so that you only have her or him as a friend. So that they can have you all to themselves. And this person is likely tired of sharing you with others. And it makes her or him jealous to see you with other people. So this jealousy is causing this person to talk shit about you behind your back. If that makes sense. This person could have some, well, narcissistic tendencies, but could also have some slightly psychopathic tendencies. With a Justice card reversed, I feel like, there might be some gossip about you not this card, it says daughter of the Lord of Truth. And so it's reversed. And so I think there might be some gossip about you not telling the truth, or that you're not truthful. And I think it's coming from the snake. And the snake is not trustworthy. It's not a good source. So people don't take it seriously. But there are rumors about you being, like, yeah, not truthful, that you're lying, or lying about something about yourself, maybe even something a bit silly, where of course you're not lying about that, but like this person might have tried to make a rumor about you that's kind of like, it's so obvious that it's not true. Like, she might have said to people that you're lying about your profession or your education or your job, or that you actually don't have the job that you have, that you're just saying it because you're embarrassed about your real job or something, where people just laugh about it because of course it's not true. Like, why would you lie about that? But this person really is trying hard to make some kind of dirt on you that really isn't there, and people realize it's not there. So yeah. Like, this person, like, it's kind of sad because, like, this person is a two-faced bitch, but it's really not working for this person because people can so easily tell. So what's the point of being two-faced if people know that both of the faces very well, and really is a very, like, gets to the point where it's more like split personality, really. And it's like they aren't really cooperating very well, these two personalities, like the two faces, and like because the lies, like that's the thing about lies, is that like people can't really, like, people always get, like, you always can tell. You can tell if people are lying, mostly because liars are rarely good liars, and they can't really keep track on the lies. And it's also really hard to keep track on lies because it's harder to remember all the details of a lie contra the truth. The truth is easier to remember because you were there, because you lived it. And so the lie is fabricated, and fabrication is just really difficult to keep track on. And so I think these lies that have been created about you from this one source, maybe two, because of course for some reason I don't know. But from this source, like, this source is a very unreliable source, and this person is a very bad liar, and is really they can't really keep track on the lies, and so people can tell that they are lying because the story changes every time. And that wouldn't happen if it was the truth. And so they kind of, like, but this person could just be a pathological liar, and so maybe they can't really do anything about it because it's just their disease. And so it's maybe it really isn't anything this person can control. Like, it might be out of their control, and so it might be really hard for them. So I don't know. With the 9 of Wands, I think people see you as very strong. People see you as someone who has been through a lot, someone who has a lot of experience. And that might also be why people don't understand why you keep this person in your life. Because people feel like why are you giving this, like, do you really believe in this person? Like, I think people around you feel sorry for you for having this bad friend in your life. But they also feel like you should know better because you have all this experience, and you might even work in a field where your job is to work with people with borderline personality disorder and narcissistic personality disorder and stuff like that. And so you might have a lot of experience with people like that. And so some people might feel like you shouldn't be friends with someone like that, because you know how toxic this person is. You can tell the manipulation and what's going on, and like you know that this person is just taking advantage of you and stuff like that. And so but some people might be talking about like, this could be some family members or someone very, very close to you might have psychoanalyzed you and thought about like why you're drawn to this person, or like why you keep being friends with this person who is very toxic, very manipulative, and a liar. And I think the conclusion that this person has made is that maybe it feels comfortable for you because it's something you're used to. Maybe because you had a sister who had borderline personality disorder, and so it feels comfortable and feels homey. It feels like normal to you because it's something you grew up with, it's something you grew up dealing with, and it's something you know how to deal with, and you have a lot of experience with it. And so maybe some people have kind of made that conclusion that it might feel at home for you. Maybe also because you had a parent who was kind of the same way or something. But I'm gonna shuffle some of these archetype cards just to see more of a description of like how people describe you behind your back, how people are talking about you. Not just this person, because like that's kind of like not so interesting. So more of a description of you. What are people saying about you as a person? What are people saying about group number 4? Group number 4. Okay. Okay, so with the Judge card, it says balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power. So I think people see you as someone who's very compassionate, someone who is good at balancing compassion and justice. So good at some of you might be working with social work or something to do with social work or the justice system. So people see you as someone who is constantly working with people and that you're serving humanity in some way, that you have a job that's very selfless, and like your that you have a higher mission, and that you are a very accomplished person in whatever you do for a living. And I think that it comes like I feel like some people see it as a bit counterintuitive, or sorry, or that it's counterintuitive, or that it just doesn't make sense that you are that you have this higher mission on earth, that you're really great at your job, and somehow your emotional life is like a bit scattered, or like it's a bit all over the place, going in different directions that doesn't really make sense, or that you make choices about the friends that you have, the people that you allow into your life, that you might also make some bad choices when it comes to dating, or some people might be talking about you making bad choices when it comes to dating, that they don't like some of the people that you have been in a relationship with in the past, and maybe you are in a relationship right now that people also kind of feel like is beneath you, that you could do better. With the Rebel card reversed, I think people might see you as someone who doesn't rebel when you should be, or that maybe some people also see you as a bit blindsided when it comes to some things from your past, or some people might be gossiping about that, or talking about that there might be some things that you believe is okay, and maybe that comes to show in your friendships and in your relationships, that you allow certain behaviors from other people, like you allow people to do things to you that some people might feel like you shouldn't do, or you shouldn't allow them to do that, or you should set boundaries for other people more than you do already, that you're not setting enough boundaries. And I think people talk about that you need to rebel against this, that you need to get out of this pattern, and that maybe the reason why you're not setting boundaries for people is because you believe it's natural, normal behavior, because maybe it's something that you were so used to in the past, something that you grew up with. Maybe you grew up with people being kind of toxic throughout your whole childhood. Maybe your parents were kind of toxic, and your siblings were kind of toxic, and everybody around you were maybe a bit toxic. And so maybe you don't like the word toxic. I just don't really know a better word for it right now. I can't really think of a better word, so I'm just going to use it. I know you don't like that word. I'm going to try to find a different word for it, but yeah, it's like people might be talking about this behind your back, that you need to maybe get rid of the blindfold that you have about your childhood, that you might be looking at your childhood and thinking that everything was normal, that it was fine, and that many people had it a lot worse than you did, and so you don't have anything to complain about because it could have been so much worse. But I think people want you to realize that what you went through wasn't normal, and when you realize that it wasn't normal, maybe you would then think twice about allowing some of these people who are not serving you, these types of people, toxic people, into your life. That somehow it's all tied up to that or something. Sorry. No, so with this blank card, I think some people feel like you're a bit of a mystery, that they don't really know you. And with the trickster card, I think people feel like you're a bit of a maybe a bit of an enigma, but also that maybe you you're this person who is very difficult to pinpoint, and it's hard to put you in a box. And so people might get a bit nervous around you because they don't know where you fit in, which box you fit into. So they can't really read you. And when they can't read you, they get nervous about like what to expect from you, and yeah, there's something unpredictable about you. Like I think people, like whenever people feel like they know you, you do something or say something that makes them question what they already know about you. Like you might be a bit all over the place, like, and maybe you are just a very dynamic person. So your personality is very like maybe a bit like not counterintuitive, but like a lot of things that usually don't complement each other. Like maybe you are the type of person who likes plants, so you like to grow a lot of plants in your apartment, and then you also study law, and then you also like astrology, and then you also enjoy anime, but also classical music, and also something like board games, but also more conventional stuff like go out partying and go clubbing, and I like maybe you're just like very like have a lot of interests that are not usually seen in one person, like one person having all these things at the same time that seem to not fit each other. So you might have a lot of interests and a lot of hobbies that are not tied together, that seem to be from very different worlds. Maybe also your belief system might make some people question who you are, because like sometimes you might like with the engineer card, like there might be certain parts of you that's very logical and very rational, but then there might be another part of you that's very spiritual and where you believe in elves or unicorns or something like mermaids, or something very very fantasy like stuff. Maybe you don't believe in those things, but you might have an interest in those things or something. And maybe people feel like that makes no sense. Like, how can a law student have some kind of interest for fantasy, or like that those two don't complement each other normally or something? I don't know. But this card here, it also says ability to give creative energy a practical expression, talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. And I think people talk about you having like this logical mind, but also this creative mind, that you have like the both best of both worlds, that they might complement each other, but it's very it's very uncommon that someone is very logical and creative at the same time. It seems like it usually is either or, like either you're a creative or you are the science type who likes to study science and stuff, or you are the creative artist who likes to paint and stuff. And then those are the two poles, and that there's no way to get those intertwined or something. I don't know. But I think you have that. You like people talk about you kind of having the best of both worlds there. That you are very smart, but also very creative. So that's a very good compliment right there. But yeah. But I think that's all I have for you, group number 4. I hope this reading was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel. And if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below for more information on how to get one. And yeah, have a great day, and bye. Hello, group number 5. You chose this Jolanda Tarot deck, and I will start with some channeling, and then I will shuffle the cards for you. Group number 5. So, yeah, I'm gonna do the channeling now. So, yeah. What's the gossip on group number 5? Spirit, can you answer this question for group number 5? The people who will choose group number 5. What's the gossip on group number 5? What's the gossip on them? What's the gossip about them? I am sensing that people are talking about you being very funny, a bit silly sometimes, but in a good way, like in a goofy way, very entertaining. I feel like people have shared some of the jokes that you have made in the past, so people are talking about that and sharing those, and giving you credit for those as well, mentioning your name to strangers even. I don't know if some of you have a social media presence, but I feel like people talk about you and your social media, talk about people talk about you in real life and about your social media presence in real life, and talk about others, like talk to others about you and tell them to follow you, and that you're very funny or something, or that you're very talented in whatever you do. Also very charismatic. I feel like people describe you as charismatic and charming, that you have like very much like you can light up a room with your energy. Yeah, I'm also sensing that people see you as, or people talk about you being very enchanting. Or enchanting, I don't know. But that you have some kind of way to spellbind people. That people are very charmed by you, and some people might feel like it could be something psychic or magical, that you have put some kind of magic spell on them to make them like you, because they feel like they are just like, I feel like there are some people around you that are just idolizing you and very fond of you and big fans of you, but when they think about it, they don't really know what it is about you. Like what makes you so attractive and so luring, like why they are so captivated by you. They can't really tell what it is, what your quality is that makes them so drawn to you. So some people, or maybe one person in your life, feels like there might be something mystical going on, like that it must be something magical that's pulling them towards you, because it's unfathomable, like they don't really fathom what's going on, and so their conclusion to that is that there must be something something otherworldly going on. Yeah. And maybe this person also knows that you're a spiritual person, and maybe they know that you read tarot cards and stuff like that, so they already know that you're a part of the spiritual society, and so they don't feel like it's such a big stretch to assume that you have put some kind of magic spell on them. So yeah. But I'm gonna shuffle the cards now and see what the cards have to say about this. Page of Wands reversed. So this card has a unicorn in it, but it's reversed. So this might just be saying that the thing I said before about unicorns. Didn't I say it with this group? I don't. But maybe not. But maybe this. Maybe there are some people around you who sees that you're a very spiritual person, that you're into tarot cards and into spirituality and maybe even into magic, but there might be some people who feel like it's a bit weird that you're so open to so many weird things, but some things you're not open to, like some things you still feel like is very silly. So you might have been outspoken about that you believe in tarot cards, but you might not believe in astrology or in zodiac signs, and that zodiac signs are like have some kind of effect on our effect on our personality or something like that, and you might have been outspoken about your belief in that. And so some people might have felt like that was a bit weird, that they would have expected someone like you, who is very open to spirituality, to be also open to astrology, because that would make sense. You might also have been outspoken about believing in ghosts, but not believing in past lives, for instance, reincarnation, and to you it makes perfect sense that these two things can't really coexist, or something like that. And you might have been outspoken about that, and people might have. I feel like some people around you, especially if you have been talking to some people who are in the spiritual community, might have felt like you were a bit like that you were being closed off, or that you weren't being open enough, and it's like it's one of those things that I don't like about the spiritual community, is that it should be this thing where people can talk openly about what they believe in, but instead it's kind of this thing where people are kind of judgmental towards each other, and if you don't believe in the correct thing, or if you don't believe in everything, that's usually the, like, if you pick and choose, like, if it's the right things, it's like, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion, really. I'm just saying stuff. I don't know. I don't know. But you might have said something about your spiritual beliefs to someone who is a spiritual person, and that person might have felt like it was a bit weird that you believed in astrology but didn't believe in tarot, or that you believed in ghosts but didn't believe in reincarnation, and that you believed in mediumship without believing in past lives, or something like that. And that you might have said you believe in souls but don't believe in angels, and like something like that, where it didn't really, like, you didn't say it because you were trying to diminish someone else's belief. It was just you trying to tell people what you believed in, and I don't think there's any harm in that, but some people might have felt like, oh, that's a hater there. But it really, like, why even do religion if you're not determining your faith? I don't know. Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't do religion. Maybe that's the whole thing. It should just, I don't know. Well, I'm just saying stuff at this point. I don't know. With the Four of Pentacles, I feel like people might be gossiping about you being a bit closed off, that you're not sharing your true self, or that you're keeping things to yourself. That you're not being very generous with information about yourself. Maybe you don't like to talk about private things with people, especially strangers. You might feel like one of the things that's very uncomfortable for you might be when a total stranger psychoanalyzes you, and that's something that might make you very annoyed. And so when you show this annoyance to the other person, they might judge you for being closed off and withdrawn and standoffish, when actually it is just because it's too soon, and many people would feel the same way, and so don't feel bad about that. Yeah. So, like, I don't know why, but I feel like the spiritual community is filled with a lot of I don't know why I feel like talking shit about them, especially when I am making a video for this spiritual community, where this spiritual community is my audience. So I don't know why I'm doing this, but I feel like maybe I can be honest with you guys, because maybe you are like-minded. I don't know, but I feel like the spiritual community has, like, there are some drama queens there, like some people who are starting drama about something that's really I heard of like one person. It's actually not my own story. It was a friend of mine who told me that he had talked to someone in the spiritual community at some kind of meditation downtown, and he had introduced himself to her and said to her that he was happy to meet another spiritual person, and that it was nice to meet a new spiritual person, and he said that to her, and and she corrected him and said, "I'm not spiritual, I'm cosmic," and that's completely different for whatever reason. And I find that a bit descriptive of what this community is, because there are a lot of people who get really fixated on the terms and what we are, and I'm not spiritual, I'm cosmic, I believe in this and that, like, but make it like it's not about like what term what we call ourselves. Like, I don't care if I call myself a medium or a clairvoyant or like these are just terms. I would care more about the term of the practice, or what we call the practice, even though I don't really care about that either. Like, but I would care about that more, because to me it's more about the practice than the practitioner, because I'm just some kind of middleman, and I don't really need to have a name or a title or something like. And I don't really understand why the spiritual community has this need to put these labels on things. Like, and like so many things have names that I don't know, and like so many technical terms about things within the spiritual community. That like sometimes, like when I listen to some spiritual people on YouTube talk about spiritual stuff, I feel like I have to have a dictionary, because like all of like it's like a riddle, like it's like they are speaking in a language that I, of course, like it's just a language I don't understand, because it's not very down to earth. It's not things we talk about in the real world. It's and so it kind of, I feel like it puts a bit of a distance between the spiritual people and just the normal people, and the normal people are just as spiritual as the spiritual people, but it's like it's creating this distance that these so-called spiritual people are talking in a different language that is not really understandable for the normal person, like the average person, who's not really I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about, really. I'm sorry, but it's just I think we need to really reconsider the terminology and using all these words to describe very normal things that everybody experiences, and if we made it more accessible to everybody, we could maybe get more spirituality throughout the whole group, where the human race or whatever, I don't know. And yeah, that was my rant about that. I don't even know. It is what it is. But yeah. But I'm gonna shuffle some more cards about the gossip about you, with the devil reversed. So I think people see you as a very good person, someone who doesn't get tempted very easily, someone who's very good at controlling your impulses. I think people talk about you maybe being a bit too good at controlling your impulses, to the point where you're not following your desires. People might also be talking about you not allowing any desires into your life, like not following your delight, or the things that usually lures people to do stuff, like that you're maybe not allowing yourself to indulge in the good things in life, that you're very restrictive of yourself. There could also be something about people talking about you having a bit of a restrictive diet, that you're dieting, or that you're not allowing yourself to eat certain foods for whatever reason, maybe religious reasons, and that they feel like you're taking certain joys of life out of your life, and that it's maybe too restrictive. But I don't know. So I'm gonna shuffle some of these archetype cards. Sorry, I didn't introduce that. But yeah, archetype cards, just to get more of a descriptive description of you, like more like how people describe you behind your back. And so the Hermit reversed came through, and the Addict reversed. And the Addict reversed, that does not come as a surprise to me. I think people see you as someone who is very, very good at controlling your impulses and controlling your desires, and not desiring what you desire, like very good at restricting yourself and restricting your diet and restricting your habits so that you don't have any bad habits, because you seem to be very good at controlling yourself, to the point where you might be a bit of a control freak, or some people might feel like you're a bit of a control freak. But some people might also have noticed that you say no to stuff, like maybe you don't have a drinking problem or something like that, but you still don't want to drink, or maybe you don't drink because of religious reasons or something, but the fact that you might say no to alcohol in social gatherings might make some people gossip about that, like because it's unusual, and so people talk about that behind your back. If you make a choice of not drinking alcohol, especially if you don't explain why you're not drinking alcohol, then people will talk about that behind your back and like ask each other, like, oh, how could that be? Like, is it because this person is an alcoholic? Is it because they have a history, or is it because they are religious, or what is it? Like, and so that is a portal to some discussions, I guess. Like, people like to discuss people like to discuss things like that, why people make the choices that they make. And with the Hermit reversed, I'm gonna read the shadow attributes of this card, and it says, withdraws from society out of fear or negative judgment of others, refusing to help those in need. And I don't think the last part is descriptive of you, but I think the first part is. I think that's what people are gossiping about. I think people feel like you withdraw a bit from society, and that you're, like, especially if you are being invited to go to parties or go out clubbing, people might think you're withdrawing if you say no. If you say no, people will think, oh, you have fear or anxiety, or that you're afraid of being judged or something. Like, people make up stories in their minds, and then they start talking to each other about these made up stories, and then suddenly there is a narrative there, and you can't really control that. That happens all the time. Especially if people don't have all the puzzle pieces, they just create the ones that they don't have and see if it fits. And so I feel like people have been contemplating about, like, why you withdraw from society, or why you don't want to go clubbing, why you don't want to go partying, why you don't want to go to social events. Or why you don't drink, or yeah. And I think people see you as someone who's, like, who used to be very, like, I think still people feel like you're very funny, but people might see you as someone who used to be more funny in the past, maybe because you went clubbing and went partying with other people, and so people remember you as a very funny, light person, goofy, silly person who liked to go out and have fun. And then maybe they see you now as someone who's a bit of a control freak, someone who is very good at controlling yourself, very good at controlling your impulses, and that it's maybe making you a bit boring, or some people might be thinking that it's making you boring. That you might also be less impulsive in the way you speak. Like maybe in the past you used to just speak without thinking, and sometimes something really funny came out when you just allowed yourself to just say whatever came to your mind. And then maybe now you are more thoughtful of people's feelings, and you don't want to like say anything that would hurt someone or offend anyone, and so you are more like you're filtering out some of the thoughts, the first thoughts that pop up in your brain, and you put that back, and then like you come up with a more thoughtful answer to whatever you're and yeah, I think some people around you, like they see it as good process, like or progress. I mean, good progress. That you're actually maybe also starting to process some of the things, like that it's actually showing a lot of growth and maturity. That you have come to this point where you're taking control over your own narrative, and but yeah, still some people feel like they want the old you back, where you had more fun and didn't take life so seriously, and could take light on things, and yeah. Some people might feel like you're a bit more passive now when it comes to social stuff. I think when it comes to your work, I don't think people consider you passive at all. I think people see you as very active at your workplace or at your school, or whatever you're doing as a career thing. People see you as very active there, but in your emotional, social life, people see you as maybe a bit passive, that you're not making a lot of effort to be social, that you're a bit withdrawn. I don't know. But people see you as very funny, and they remember you as very funny before, and they feel like you could become that person again, that it seems like maybe life has kind of sculptured you into becoming more serious, that it is circumstances that have determined your seriousness. And maybe also religion. Some people might feel like after you found religion that you have become more dull after that, but that's their opinion. It doesn't really have to bother you. Yeah. But I think that's all I have for you. Group number 5. I hope this reading was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel, and if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below for more information on how to get one. And yeah, have a great day, and bye.